Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We talked about how much the messenger, peace be upon him, was facing attacks and criticisms and rejection coming from his own people in Mecca. And we talked about jihad and how we have to understand this notion, the way we have to understand the very essence of this a message based on peace and based on tawheed and based on the way we are connected to God, and how do we have to purify ourselves through a process of resisting and reforming. Yet sometimes it's very difficult, and at one point in Mecca, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was unable to protect the people, and he was thinking about an option, how to protect the community, how to protect the believers, and especially how to protect the poor people within his community, because they were tortured and killed. So at one point he said to the Muslims, there is one king who is just with all his people, and he's protecting people with peace. And this king, Najashi, the Negus, was in fact somebody who was a Christian at that point. Later he would become a Muslim, but before he was a Christian, and the Prophet ﷺ was telling them, you have to go. Meaning two things here that we have to remember as Muslims while we think about our religion. The first thing is, yes, we belong to our country. Well, yes, we want to stay in our country and to build and to contribute for the better within our country. But sometimes the principles, our principles, are more important as to protect than only to belong to a country which is dealing with us and sometimes persecuting and attacking people and stigmatizing people. So we need to get the sense that when it's too much, when people are, their life is at stake, you need to take a decision. I said when the life is at stake, not as we have now in some African, Asian or Western countries, you are facing difficulties and stigmatization, but you have to stay. This is where you have to struggle, because your life is not at stake and you can build and do what you have to do. This is one thing. The second is the message that we got coming from the Prophet ﷺ, that he was talking about a Christian, and he was saying, I'm not talking about the religion of this king. I'm talking about the way he behaved with his religion, and he is a just Christian protecting all the human beings in the name of justice. So it's not he was not dealing with only looking for people who were from the same religion. He was open to people and saying, yes, Lakum dinukum waliya din means you have your religion, I have mine. What is the common ground is how do we deal with principles and how do we implement the principles. And this is where we have to be fair. So we belong to our principles and we have to promote principles, and we need to look within our community and outside to people who are sharing our values and principles, and we can work together. This is the message of this exile in Abyssinia, and the Muslims went there, some of them stayed there, others came back. But we need to get this, and especially for Muslims today, you are fasting and you can see spiritual people around you. They are not Muslims, they are coming from other faiths and they have other faiths, but they are sharing values and principles. We can work together, we have to contribute together for the better of our society. And our religion, our way of fasting, the fact that this is a universal message, is going to be seen and should be seen by the people as a signal that we have similarities much more than differences, inshallah. And don't never forget to tell the people you love that you love them, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.